It's finally happening as several Oilers get recognized on the international stage. We'll break down who those Oilers are and who could potentially make their respective countries. We won't just look at Canada, we'll look at all around the world covered here by the Edmonton Oilers as we're covering the rest of the summer here on the channel. Still waiting for a McDavid extension, but we have to wait until after the Leon Draisaitl wedding. But stay tuned here to Oilers Digest, and if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe here to the channel, as 81% of you watching the content here haven't subscribed. So what are you waiting for, folks? Make sure you hit that button down below for any and all Oiler news. Now let's get right into it, shall we? I know the Olympics are still quite a ways away, but still some Team Canada news as we get into the Oil Olympics. Yes, that's the best I could do with a creative title, folks. But Oil Olympics with Team Canada, in 4 Oilers were recognized, as Connor McDavid originally was one of the first 6 members of Team Canada named to the roster alongside Sidney Crosby, Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, Braden Point, and Sam Reinhart there. But 3 Oilers could potentially join him, as 4 Oilers invited to the Team Canada orientation camp in Calgary for the 2026 Olympics in Italy. There was Zach Hyman, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Evan Bouchard being invited by Hockey Canada to attend the national team's orientation camp from August 26th to the 28th there. So we still have to wait for the end of the month for that to happen there. But again, some big news. I mean, in the last Olympics, I mean, a whole lot of Oilers were not named to, many of their respective countries. I mean, we had, Anton Belov for Russia, if you remember that name. That's a blast from the past there. Ales Hemsky for, Czechia there. But for the Oilers, it's good to see some recognition there with, all 4 on the Oilers power play, pretty much getting, the 3 of them with Hyman, Nugent-Hopkins, and Evan Bouchard there into Team Canada consideration. The national team's orientation camp is a 3-day off-ice event there with players and staff from all 3 programs, which will include presentations, team building opportunities, team meetings, and media opportunities in preparation for the upcoming season there. So you saw Zach Hyman. You're probably wondering, is there going to be any on-ice? There will not be. Again, it's just an off-ice event there for, not just the men's team, but the women's team and the Paralympic teams, the sledge hockey teams, to sort of get to know each other, mingle there, and just make each other better, is my best guess. And the 4 Oilers were among the list of 42 NHL players, 3 goaltenders, 13 defensemen, and 26 forwards selected by Team Canada's management staff, led by General Manager Doug Armstrong, to compete for the opportunity to represent Canada at the Olympics this February for the first time since 2014. Yes, it's been quite some time there for, not just the Oilers, but also the NHL at the Olympics there, with the last time they were allowed to go were the Sochi in 2014, which, would have been almost 12 years ago by the time the next Olympics roll around there. So it's been quite some time. I know we've had the World Cup hockey in 2016 to sort of fill the void in the 4 nations face-off, but it's time for, a true Olympic best-on-best tournament once again. It's been far too long there, as the last time the Oilers did send, players for the Canadian team was back in 2006, coincidentally enough, also in Italy there, with Ryan Smith in Chris Pronger there, and his one a year with the Oilers being named to Team Canada there, and then Ales Hemsky and Jaroslav Spacek there for Czechia. You would expect, okay, Ryan Smith and Chris Pronger were, the 2 that medaled. Nope, it was Ales Hemsky and Spacek there with the bronze medal, as that was a disastrous Olympics there for Team Canada there. I mean, I'm wearing a 2006 Olympics jersey right now, but still, not very memorable there. And also, you can see the Team Canada goalies there. Surprise, surprise, no Stuart Skinner, with them only inviting the 3 goalies, with Jordan Binnington, Aiden Hill, and Sam Montembeault, the 3 that were named to the 4 nations face-off team there. Now with, Hyman, in McDavid, you're wondering, well, okay, how realistic of a chance is there with Zach Hyman making this team there? But in a short tournament with very little prep time, pre-existing chemistry is critical, and Hyman and McDavid have that in spades. The 2 have spent the better parts of the last 4 years playing together on Edmonton's top line, alongside with Ryan Nugent-Hopkins there, who, as much as I love him, there's no chance he's making that Team Canada roster. So, the leadership that he provides with the Oilers, Team Canada management recognize that. So so it's nice to have for him to finally get his flowers there. But Hyman has scored 179 goals in a total of 376 games regular season in playoffs combined there. So Zach Hyman would pretty much get the Chris Kunitz role on the 2014 Olympic team. He's pretty much brought on just because he had that tremendous chemistry with Sidney Crosby on the Pittsburgh Penguins, but it proved to, be very victorious for Canada in the gold medal game there, with those two firing on all cylinders in the 3-0 shutout win over Team Sweden there. So no Nuge, but Hyman in Bouchard there. Again, very, very good chance they could make Team Canada there. I know many on social media have, clamored about, Bouchard's sort of mistakes every so often. Sure, he makes mistakes, but he makes up for it for, 4 or 5 fantastic decisions in the offensive zone. The best defense is a good offense, and Evan Bouchard keeps the puck inside the zone. There you can see, amongst all active defensemen, he is first in playoffs points per game there with 2.749 there, so nearly 3 points per game for a defenseman. You can say, okay, he's a power play merchant, but still, Evan Bouchard on the biggest stage of them all. He is, one of the go-to guys around the National Hockey League team. You're saying, okay, well, he can't play defense, but I mean, if we look in the past there, yes, I'm going to bring, some history into this for context there, when it comes to Team Canada in icing the best roster possible. We can all see, the 1987 Canada Cup. I mean, Larry Murphy couldn't play defense and he was on the team. Paul Coffey, Oiler legend, but couldn't play defense, still found his way onto the team there. So Team Canada can find a balance between, bringing the rugged, hard-nosed defensemen and, some of those two-way guys, but they need the guys that can shine on the biggest stage, and Evan Bouchard is certainly one of them there. Now, there's the 4 Oilers, you have 4 Oilers that could potentially be named to Team Canada, or 3, I should say, with Connor McDavid being already named to the list, but around the world there are still some Oiler representations waiting to potentially be named there. And we'll start with Czechia there, with one of the newest Oilers that they acquired during the playoffs there, with Czech forward David Tomaszek there. You can see newly Oiler, lit up the Swedish Elite League last year, and again, very, very familiar with playing with Czechia in international tournaments there. 276 games played in the Czech uniform there, 78 goals with 101 assists for total points of 179 there, and that includes a gold medal, a homegrown gold medal there, as he won gold with Czechia at the 2024 World Championships with Czechia. So it's very unsure what, his role with the Oilers could be. Is he going to be top 9? Is he going to be on the 4th line there? The Oilers have yet to figure that out. But who knows, with the way he may play with the Oilers in the first part of the season, that could get him named to Team Czechia. Now, Germany. I mean, we all know the obvious one here with Team Germany, with Leon Draisaitl, the power of German engineering, as he was one of the 6 Germans named to the initial Team Germany roster there, alongside Tim Stützle, Nico Sturm, Philip Grubauer, Mo Seider, and Lucas Reichel there. But there could be a dark horse here with one Mr. Josh Szymanski there, who will start the year with the Bakersfield Condors alongside David Tomaszek. He was one of the other European Oiler forwards that the Oilers did sign during the spring there, and then they signed a whole bunch of Europeans. I mean, there's Atro Lepinen with Team Finland, but Josh Szymanski, German, and again, got lots of experience there playing with Team Germany for, multiple international competitions, whether it be the World Junior Championships or the World Championships. He is very, very familiar with the German uniform there, and again, could be a dark horse there for Team Germany in the Olympics. They're not quite as deep as other countries, but they are on the rise here, folks. And last but not least, with Team Sweden there in the power of German engine. That's not Sweden. This is Sweden. Team Sweden. There we go. With one Mattias Ekholm, very, very questionable, when he was injured during the latter part of the regular season. Wasn't too sure what his status was going to be. I mean, it seemed like he was injured or sick all season long there, and especially that made it worse during the Four Nations face-off, representing his home country, but all the power to him there. And during the Stanley Cup final, when he did return there, it looked a little bit shaky, but I don't expect to see him like that at all during the start of the regular season. But it's led to many experts, I should say, leaving him off the initial team's Sweden roster there. Ulf Boden on daily faceoff there with the left side, having Rasmus Dahlin, Victor Hedman, Gustav Forsling, and Hampus Lindholm there. But other experts in hockey sites have Mattias Ekholm listed, so he's a bit of a wild card here, and I don't see why he should be. I mean, he's a veteran, sure, had injury problems this year, but it's not like he's been injury prone his entire career there, and he's still a very steady defenseman when he is healthy there, with the NHL.com team listing him as one of the 8 defensemen there for Team Sweden, alongside Rasmus Andersson, Jonas Brodin, Dahlin, Forsling, Hedman, Carlson, in Lindholm there. But there's a little bit of saltiness from Mattias Ekholm, leading to him again potentially being left off the Team Sweden roster. There's before the USA game for the Four Nations face-off in Boston, Sweden scratched Ekholm in Arvidsson, but at puck drop, he was in the game there. And again, he played the least out of all of the Swedish defensemen there, only putting up .942 there. And he voiced his displeasure after the game there. Now, the Swedish Ice Hockey Federation, they may not like that. They may leave him off there. I mean, lots of international federations in the hockey world, they have left players off for petty reasons such as that there. So it's pretty much 50-50 there for Ekholm making the Team Sweden roster there. But again, I'd love to see him representing the Tre Kronor over in Italy in February. But a bit of a different video today, but I mean, it's fantastic. Loving all the international representation for the Oilers, whether it be Canada, Germany, Czechia, or Sweden. Always love it. I'm loving the return of the NHL back to the Olympics. And let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are for the NHL in the Olympics and for Team Canada. Do you think Hyman, or which one of Hyman, Bouchard, or Nugent-Hopkins will make it, or will only 2 make it? Let me know down in the comments. I'm very interested to see what you all have to say regarding the Olympics there in Italy. But folks, take care. Have a great rest of your Saturday. It's the beginning of August, and we're one step closer to hockey. Take care. I'm Matt.